So we met at a small con in 2019. That was kind of like the first time I decided to try meeting people local to me after staying hidden for many years. I mean, I was mostly lurking around the fandom online quietly for many years by then. So when we met and started hanging out, we didn't speak much last I remembered, and all I knew was that he's got this really soft, gentle personality who has a habit of being observant, but that was kind of just it, you know. We did keep in touch and met up for dinner occasionally, but it was mostly surface level conversations until that fateful evening happened. I was invited to his birthday gathering. I got his invite, and at the time I was just, somewhere in the area, happened to be doing a show at another hotel nearby. So I said, yeah, why not? Then, right after, before I went over, I had a massive fallout with my ex-business partner, but I didn't want to bother anyone with that shit, so I just picked up a small gift on the way there. We hung out with the rest, and we watched him, extinguish the candle on the cake, and then some were starting to pass out from the alcohol and everything. Well, I didn't want to overstay my welcome, of course, and I wasn't feeling mentally alright at that night after the whole shebang at work. So I was pretty damn close to breaking down that evening because of all the stress coming at me from all sides, be it work or home, and it just happened so that the party was near this spot I would always visit whenever I kinda need some time alone, right? So for some crazy reason, we never quite figured out till now about his decision to go out looking for me. That's 3 in the morning, where I was almost blackout drunk, sobbing like a bitch. And when I asked how did he know I wasn't going home, all he said to me was, I had a feeling and just wanted to make sure that you're okay. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that was actually pretty fucking gay. So we got closer over time, and for some crazy reason he decided to head to Canada for his studies. I made him promise me to stay in touch, and since I was working in the clubs back then, we were pretty much in sync on the times of waking up and sleeping. And at that moment in time, I was mostly working and traveling, and he was studying in the meantime. So we both found ourselves often learning more about people in our social circles we thought were friends, but it turned out to be some shit-tier manipulative clout chasers, posers, gossip mongers, and whatnot. Both of us were in weird places mentally, and I guess it was going through all of that shit together that really brought us both closer together. So April 2020 happened for all of us, a week before my career's first ever DJ tour that was supposed to take place in Asia, some parts of it at least. I spent all the years and effort trying to work against all the odds to make it happen. Then all of a sudden I find myself on the flight back home within the same day, right before the whole global lockdown that happened that week. I remember I was butt naked in the hotel room during my visit to Taiwan, watching the news flash that there's this new virus, and I texted him about it while literally running to the airport. The first week of the lockdown, and at that point I was already turned into this whole, alcoholic stage. I gave up on wanting to live, to be honest. I was really completely out of it and locked myself in my apartment mostly. I never left the house for like once a week probably. Imagine all the years of trying only to end up being forced to watch your dreams getting crushed time and time again. But ever since I met him, he was always there reminding me that everything's gonna be okay somehow. It was a weird feeling at the time because I never had anyone do that for me at all. But he was the first to offer this sense of comfort I never knew I needed. And then of course there's the whole drinking problem that carried on almost every single day for that period, with many of us just trying to hold each other mentally. And one night in June 2021, I was incredibly drunk out of my mind, lying on the floor in my room, and this fella knew about my developer's CV1 loaned to me, and thanks Ray, I hope you might see this. I was actually sitting down dealing with him encouraging me to keep my VR chat installed. I didn't know why either, he just kept telling me to just keep that. And he just kept pestering me to apply for Misho's Vibe Night. At that point, I haven't touched the decks for quite a while, I have to put it out there first. I haven't been into any consoles since the lockdown, and I actually drunkenly destroyed one part of my personal setup at home as well, because my key concern was I didn't know if I still had it in me to perform, when just by looking at a CDJ, for example, would have given me a literal panic attack. but he was there, you know, and he wouldn't shut the fuck up about the whole application form. So he asked me for months. I was in this state of anxiety I couldn't get out of. He just never gave up the idea of wanting me to show up in VR for some reason, and then it finally happened. By the way, sorry Misho, I really didn't know what to expect at all. I never knew DJing VR was a thing back then. So that went well. Then I started meeting more people with him holding me together half the time. Then I started, you know, to stumble into more places, and one of them was Ferrari Legends. I knew absolutely no one in there, and I was terrified as hell alone until he showed up to keep me company. I remember I had a panic attack right before my set premiered, and he was just there telling me, you're gonna be okay, you know? And if anything at all, I was... how do I put this? There was the whole VR CD crew. There was some of my friends as well from other social circles. So after that weekend was over, I told him I might never be able to do this again. I didn't know where to find the courage anymore, you know? And he just kept going on, repeating the whole, you'll be okay, trust me speech. Then the whole thing just started to keep on going, like there's a momentum, and I met even more people with him. He and I hung out more often on VR since, you know, he's only back in town for a month once a year. I just kept playing every set as if it was gonna be my last. And just letting people have a good time out there is what I live for, really. So over time, he actually helped me get off alcohol completely and helped me realize that there's so much more to see and learn out there in the world. Then there was one night, I think this was about June 2022, I think, right after Ferrari Aqua. So that period, I think it's a couple of weeks after that, he told me that he wanted to be a DJ, right? So I, for one, take people seriously when they tell me that they want to learn, because I know how it's like to have no idea where to start, who to ask, the whole struggle with being self-taught that puts people off more than it motivates them, so, the stuff like that. So I mean, I used to teach music and DJing in schools anyway, so I took him seriously, of course, and asked if he could send me a demo so I could see how his progress is like, or how much he has already known. And I reviewed the demo he sent. It was fucking bad. He learns fast, I realized. Imagine going through some tracks figuring out what to do for a show, and this idiot just brings up a list that can work a crowd properly. I was pretty stumped. Like, holy shit, this is not something you get to see every day, and this is not something that anyone could just do. And then I realized that he has this thing where he can read crowds really well. And when I say really well, I mean specifically the kind of skill that even professionals in the field would have to take years to at least, you know, even say achieve, right? So I decided to just take a dive on this and told him that, hey, let's form a duo. And I mean, besides, I could just have him on stage if I have to go take a shit, right? So we had to come up with a project name, right? After a whole day of sitting down and just brainstorming, this fucking cabbage came up with some of the worst names. Like, please do not have pets or children. I can't imagine what he would name that. After Ferrari Silver this year, this fucker did something absolutely insane for me. He and a whole bunch of people just shoved me into a metal tube that went halfway across the planet, and I got to see all the friends we made in VR for the first time ever in person in Anthrocon. Never in my life have I ever imagined the day I'll get to see, you know, so many people I wanted to meet at one go, even though till now I still live with the fear that I may never get that opportunity ever again, given the whole situation I'm currently in. But I still took my chances anyway. And of course I had to speedrun the whole, you know, crying part when I was still in the plane and everything. I still struggle with feeling undeserved of all the good things people have done for me, and now us, like all the support and the kind words, with him every step of the way reminding me to keep my shit together, of course. I really don't know what I would be doing today if he didn't force me to, you know, send a thing to Misho. I might have actually ended up dead, actually. He somehow came into my life right at the moment when my liver was failing from all the alcohol abuse. Like, he helped me find my smile back, a stage I could call home, my confidence in connecting people together through music, the courage to leave a life of social toxicity behind, and my reason to keep fighting in life. He helped me learn the biggest thing I never realized, that I never was an angry person. I just needed to find the kind of people that would truly be there for you as much as you do for them. I may have created everything that I was, you know, based on the circumstances I lived through in the past, but everything I am and will be, this idiot's the reason. To all the good times once upon a time, and to all the good times ahead of us. Happy birthday to a brother I never knew I needed in my life, a dear friend to me, the VRCD group, and even more out there, you urinal cake looking motherfucker. Fuck man, when I found out what his name was, I legit was just thinking to myself, who the fuck would name themselves Tiramisu? And then I realized that it was actually Tirashira and I needed glasses. So I had a hypothesis, okay, hear me out, that he might be retarded because there was once I was talking to him, right? When we were going out somewhere and this fucker was just talking halfway and he paused with his face spacing out right in front of me. Like, you can see the buffering sign on his forehead. Like, why the fuck of all colors it had to be blue? Like, his ref sheet color scheme looks like the cleaning soap thing my grandma used to wash her vagina. He left his glasses at my house, and I thought, you know, shit, he needs it. So just as I was about to run out and pass it to him, he told me, nah, it's okay, don't worry, I'll come and pick it up next time. And I was really confused because I thought he had contact lenses or something, right? Then he told me to wear them. And then I realized in that moment, for 4 fucking years, I thought he needed glasses, but it was just for some light filtering shit that blue colored fuck